Peace and Black Power family. This is your host, Raheem Shabazz, and we are here for another episode of Necessary Blackness Podcast. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the first podcast for 2019. So this is our first podcast for this year. And I am joined by my lovely co-host, Marci Li. How are you doing, sister?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm glad you was able to join us. Now, before we get into our main topic, which is R. Kelly, and we're going to talk about was the black community complicit in helping him get away with the devious sexual acts that he was doing, or was he hiding in plain sight and many of us didn't pick up on it? So we're going to discuss that and more. But before we get into that, I want to talk about Fun in the Rain.
Oh, you talking about my first book?
Your first book. Let's talk about it.
I got a million motherfuckers hating me, 40 billion motherfuckers loving me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna take this musical shit and I'm gonna inject these motherfuckers with this musical, beautiful motherfucking shit.
No, don't do that. I can't afford no more kids.
No. You don't understand. I am handcuffed like a lot of you motherfuckers. I'm handcuffed by my destiny. It's too late. They should have did this shit 30 years ago. It's too late. The music has been injected into the world. Okay? I hired my motherfucking self. I want to propose a toast to all the strong motherfuckers in here right now.
Yes, sir.
It's motherfuckers like you is why I still continue to do what I do, because I have a basketball mentality. You understand? As long as I got the ball, the world is on defense.
Let's get down to the get down.
Let's get down to it.
Now we spoke previously and we was talking. But it ain't about us talking. It's about what the internet is saying, what society is saying, what social media is saying. As many of us want to dismiss, social media, it's not fake news. It is the minds and opinions of our people. And this is how our people and how society is thinking. Now, you do have some of them that go online and they troll. I'm very upset with some, and not all, of the comments that is going
There's
on.
some crazy comments.
Yeah,
I mean, we
about
got to
this
keep it
R.
100.
Kelly thing. I'm just
Especially
like,
dudes.
and some females.
Yeah,
and
you
some
know what? It's
females.
across the board.
Yeah, it's across the board. But so I want to talk about it, right? Surviving R. Kelly. I seen the movie.
Yes, I saw all 6 parts.
Yeah, I saw all 6 parts. And it's a good documentary. And when I say good, I'm talking about in how they laid the groundwork, the story, in the opening scene of May of 2018. There's a Facebook video, and I'm going to play that for my listening audience, where R. Kelly actually says that if y'all wanted to destroy me, y'all should have did it 30 years ago. And he also says that there's 1 million people hating, but there's 40 billion people that's loving him. So it started out with that. So that set it the groundwork. Then it talked about his upbringing. And we learned that he was a shy, reclusive kid. Brother told stories about if you look at Robert too hard, he would cry. And then all of a sudden, he gets the stardom and the fame. And then they said immediately they noticed the difference in him. So they painted a good backstory. They showed and interviewed both of his brothers. The brother Bruce, I don't know what was going on with him. The one that was in prison.
Right.
What you think was going on with him?
Well, I think there's a lot. I mean, just think about his background. He comes from the same situation that R. Kelly came from. So I'm sure there's drug abuse. I'm sure there's drug abuse because I believe Carrie talked about Bruce's drug abuse.
Mm.
And so I'm sure there's a lot going on. Who knows if he's been abused, because he has never said that he was abused like the other two. But if if Robert was abused and if Carrie was abused, it's most likely that he was abused too.
I just would like to know what was he in jail for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they conveniently left that out.
Yeah. Because some of his comments was very disturbing to me, especially when he said, "Listen, everybody has their preference. His preference is petite girls." All right, there's 40-year-olds, there's 50-year-old that's petite.
Well, it's more so
He
what he was
likes
alluding
young
to.
girls.
Yeah, well, he didn't really say young girls. He said young women, and I like older women, right? So we know that we're talking about young girls.
Yeah.
So he was careful not to actually say that, but still, that's the line.
But
that
you didn't feel like he was dismissing a lot of his brothers.
I do, and that's something
indiscretions?
because he probably wants to maintain a good relationship with his brother.
So you get some
there's
commissary
something.
money.
I mean, possibly. I mean, you want to keep all those options open because he looks like he's incarcerated. So you need as many friends as you can get.
So R. Kelly, man, make sure you put some money on your brother books,
He
man.
deserves it. No.
he definitely was caping for you. He didn't throw you under the bus, which he should have.
But just because you have a preference too does not mean that you need to give into that preference. Like some people have a preference for children. Maybe they do, but that does not mean that you need to follow through and, enjoy that preference.
Mm-hmm.
Some things are off limits. So,
yeah. And another thing that I want to get into, right, is what does it say to us as a Black community when right after the airing of Surviving R. Kelly, he has a 16% increase in streaming on Spotify. This was right after the first episode. And then subsequent to episodes, they said it just continued to rise.
I have to believe that those were new listeners, people who didn't really know about R. Kelly's music and they were trying to educate themselves or inform themselves about who he is. Because we already got R. Kelly's music. I mean, we know how to just go on YouTube or wherever and listen to R. Kelly's music. So to me, I'm saying it must be individuals who aren't really that familiar with his music. If people are just repurchasing to show that they are in support of him, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's a question that been lingering, and I asked myself it because when I first heard about the allegations and that, not the first when I heard about the allegations, when I heard about the documentary that it was going to air, I was having a conversation with somebody and I was telling them that it's unfortunate that if R. Kelly makes another Step in the Name of Love, a record of that magnitude, that all is going to be forgotten within a week.
Well, I hope not, but that's the problem with our community, I feel.
No, I was saying this the day that it was getting ready to air, right? And then lo and behold, after it airs, they said it's a 16% increase in his thing on Spotify. Now, he does have 5.5 million listeners on Spotify, and he has 7.7 million subscribers. So he do have a big following. This is the takeaway from this, right? A lot of people will say it, that this R. Kelly thing is a distraction. It's not a distraction. This is real. This is what's happening in our community.
A distraction from what?
You know how this is, man.
Everything's a darn distraction. Sometimes things are a distraction, but you need to address it. This needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Like right away.
Absolutely. Pronto. And let me tell you something. If it is a distraction, it's a good distraction.
It's a distraction that brings attention to African Bambaataa to me too. And also Chris Stokes. I'm calling people out because they have been in that same arena of being accused of doing this to the vulnerable people in our community. And we have overlooked it. Because I remember when the Africa Bambaataa thing started going down, people did not want to address it because they respected him so much. And I don't know about that because I didn't have that connection with him, but I know he's a respected,
He was a
pioneer.
respected
He was
pioneer.
I feel like some people still respect him because they don't want to talk against him
Yeah,
or
but
speak against
you
him.
know what? Let me tell you something. Them same people that will respect him probably has a propensity to do the same type of devious crimes and have the propensity to have that same type of
So are you
behavior as
saying that these
themselves.
guys who are, trying to overlook what R. Kelly has done, maybe have done similar things and have the same, you know, desires possibly to date young women?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. If they haven't done it in their past, then they have the desire to do it and probably haven't lived it out.
And see nothing wrong with it.
And see nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? When you excuse it and say, well, that was the 90s and, such and such and such was sleeping with underage girl, it still doesn't make it right.